Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits video. Not a review today, just a video. Today, for Christmas, I got from Wilko's part of their new Artisan brewing kits. If you can read it there. The light's not great and it's not that, just come on. Yeah, Artisan brewing kit. And this is their ChocMeister Premium Stout Kit. A dark rich chocolate stout with a strong roasted malt aroma and hoppy aftertaste. The ABV is 4%, so a tad on the low side, but makes 40 pints, brews at home. What it doesn't tell you on the outside is that you'll need a kilo of sugar. Slightly over a kilo of sugar, but a little bit over is not a problem, you know, as long as it all ferments away. So, already sterilised. I'll just show you. Already sterilised the bucket. I've put one lot of kettle full of hot water in. Because first things first, let's get rid of the sugar. Get it dissolved. It's like everything. We've got to get this sugar out of the way. Nice and dissolved. Can't be leaving any to hang around sort of thing. So, while I'm waiting for the kettle. So yeah, this is one of, I think it's 4 new beer kits from Wilko's, and I'm not sure who makes it for them. I dare say it'll pop up somewhere on the internet. Like most companies these days, it's made that it's implied that they make them. But it's usually one company who makes them all. Probably Muntons or Young's, Ritchie's, you know, one of the big companies that makes, or even Bulldog. It's good to see that Wilko's are still supporting homebrew. Morrison's used to do homebrew kits up until 2 or 3 years ago, and then they've stopped doing them, so none of the big supermarkets do homebrew kits. And I think in years to come that might be a bad move, because I think people, once beer starts getting silly expensive, certainly people on budgets will look towards homebrew kits more and more. So the great thing is that now is dissolved. What could be left there? Right, next thing's on the list, get the tin open, and you're going to have to use a blunt knife because it's not coming out. So pretty much all these new Artisan kits will follow this same procedure, I would have thought anyway. So what you get at the top is your yeast. Let's hope it's a good yeast, because Cooper's, and I don't know what it is with their ginger beers, but the yeast is rubbish. Never been able to get any of them ginger beer yeast to work. I end up buying my own yeast. The ginger beer itself is not a bad ginger beer, a bit cloudy. It's not a bad ginger beer though. So, got all the things on here, you know, about sterilising and that. I don't need to do that because I'm already doing it myself. So, next thing on the agenda, this is obviously a tin. So you've got to try and open it. And trust me, it's never easy. If you ever try to open Frey Bentos tins, you'll know what I'm on about. Now open it, but leave a little bit of the lid, so you can make like an hinge. So you'll see in a minute. Now it's like a sticky gloop inside, and I'm not joking, it gets everywhere. So there you go, you can see I've left a little bit of a hinge. You can see it's as sticky and gloopy as they come. So the first things first, really I should have put it in hot water to warm it up, but hey-oh, I didn't. So what I am going to do is pour the majority straight into the bucket. And next on the agenda, if you can see that on there, Try and do it where you can see. Look, there you go. You can see all the glue coming out. It's like a thick treacle. So I'm going to get rid of as much of it as I can, and then I'm going to swill it out with the hot water. We want as much of this as we can get, because obviously, you know, it's the concentrate. So you know, you don't want to be wasting, you know, 10% or any percentage if you can. So while it's like that, I'm going to let it carry on, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to wash with the kettle. I'm actually going to wash the lid out, so I don't have to worry about, when I put hot water in, the lid's already out of the equation. But the lid's also useful, because when you're holding it up, you can actually use the lid to be able to pour it out, and it cleans it as it's pouring. So there you go. Now what I'm going to do now with this kettle full of water, so this is number 2 kettle of water. Actually, try not to splash yourself. So gently does it. It's not easy. See, this gloopy stuff, you know, there's other ways of doing it. If you feel more confident doing it a different way, then do it a different way, you know. The thing for me is I want the top of it as clean as I can get it. Without spilling anywhere. Right, so what? Now I've done that. Luckily, very little's come down the outside. So I'm just going to push this out of the way. With the remainder of what's left in there, in the kettle, I'm going to pour it in. So you're going to need some mitts, a tea towel or something, because when you lift this, it's going to be hot. Now next, put your kettle on again, because you'll want more, so you can, you know, give it a good wash out. Right, so put the kettle on again. Right then. This stuff smells like well, it's malt, isn't it? So it's got like a bovril smell to it, that sort of thing. That's weird. I mean, it's not a bovril, nowhere near, but. So I'm stirring it inside. Stirring it inside the jug, and then what I'm also going to do is open this lid a little bit. While it's in the jug, I'm also going to stir it inside of here as well. While it's all hot water, try and, you know, use the hot water to. We don't want it thick and heavy. And at the moment, I don't know if you can see that, but you can't feel it. But like, obviously you can't. But just keep stirring it while the kettle's boiling. Just keep stirring it, try and get it to loosen up and dissolve into the water, or at least mix with the water. And because it's red hot, it's mixing quite well. The sugar's already dissolved. This is mixing. It is sticky, so if you need to wear some like plastic gloves, you know, them latex gloves, you might want to. Obviously, if you know, there's always a bit of collateral damage. You know, you're always going to get a bit on your hands. Warmish hot water will get rid of it, but so that's not bad. Right, let me switch it back around. So we're waiting for this is the 3rd kettle of water. So that in there also has settled down quite nicely. So what I'm going to do, and this time I'm not going to mess about, I'm actually going to get the gloves. Although I find it easy with a tea towel wrapped up round it. Wrap the tea towel round, moving That's it. Now that's poured in. And it's near enough clean already now. So I'm going to swill out the hot water again. Swill out the hot water again, swill it in there, let it go again, give it more of a rinse, and then it's hot and cold, filling it with hot and cold water. Probably use at least four kettlefuls. My kettle holds about 1.7, 1.9, something like that. So, you know, it's a bit of a balancing act. You want it warm, but you don't want it baking. You know, it's going to have to be warm, lukewarm, basically. Just a tad above. About 21, 22, if you've got a thermometer, you know, it will tell you in the instructions. Yeah. Yeah, it just says warm. Yeah, it doesn't actually say how warm. But yeah, so lukewarm. You don't want it baking, you know, nice lukewarm. Right, here we go again. So the kettle's nearly boiled. I shall put the kettle on once more, but we're going to start filling it with cold water anyway. But the first thing, while everything's hot, is to get all the dissolving and that done first. Because once you start adding cold water to it, you ain't dissolving nothing. You ain't getting rid of that gloopy stuff. Is not going to mix into the water as well as it would do when it's hot water. So a bit more into the can. Right, the rest into there. Alright. Fill up again. Right, that's now going to be put on, and that'll be, if I need to use it, I will do, depending on how hot it gets at the end. I tend to use about 3.5 kettlefuls. If you're a first time home brewer, you know, follow these instructions, but also, you know, go on YouTube. Like you probably are now watching this, but go on YouTube, get yourself acquainted. See how other people do it. You know, people do it their own ways. You know, some people are very slapdash. Some people follow the rules to the absolute letter. You know, even by following rules to the letter, you still make mistakes. And trust me, we all do. So, obviously, I've just poured the rest of that hot water in. So now I'm going to swirl it round again just to see how it is. And yeah, it's lovely. Can't feel no pockets of, you know, resistance. So that is great. That to me is exactly how I want it to be. So I'm just gonna drain off what's in here now. Right, I've washed that all the way up now, so I've got the 99.9% of the malty stuff out. There's always room that you could scold yourself doing this, so you know, be careful if you can. Well, be careful. Right. So now comes using the clean jug, fill it with water up to, should be 23 litres. I mean, already I'm on just under 8 litres. Kettle's boiling in the background, I can use that if I need to. Some beer kits you don't need sugar. They're the more expensive beer kits. Some you need more sugar, you know. You can use sugar, you can use brewing sugar. You know, if you read on different forums, I mean, if you've got a filter, you could actually filter your water, put filtered water in, if you really wanted to, you know. All depends what sort of area you live in, with the quality of the water. Although I just tend to use water out of the tap and be done with it. So yeah, top up to 23 litres it says there. For me, I'd always go slightly more, another half a litre extra, because obviously you're going to lose some to sediment. So you're not going to get your full 40 pints. So an extra half a litre, because I put a bit more sugar in anyway, so it's not too bad. Bear in mind it's only 4%, so it's not the strongest of beers. And obviously you need to know how much is 24 litres or 23 litres. So if you haven't got it on your on your bucket, then you're going to have to somehow put a mark, pour it in without anything big in, put a mark on where the line is and do it that way. But the best way is to have an actual bucket with the markings already on. Right, so I'm going to give this a stir now. Stir it around just to gauge the temperature. To me that needs a bit more hot water in there. It's actually gone quite cool. So I'm at 21 litres now. I'm just going to pour a bit more hot water in. I did say it's about 3.5 kettle fills. And it always tends to be like that. So I've just poured a bit more in there. Now I'm going to get it up to 23, but I'm going to go 23.5 for simple reasons that you're going to lose some to sediment. And I'd rather not if I can help that. So, put that away out of the way. So now, let me show you. There we go, 23.5. So I've gone slightly over because obviously there is going to be a sediment layer. There it is, I've just stirred it all around. It feels lukewarm. I mean, I could put my finger in really, but I don't really want to, you know, I'm not going to go that far. If you've got a thermometer, test it with a thermometer, and as long as it's not above 23 degrees, I think it is, you know. So now, sprinkle the yeast on. So does it say no need to stir? Some they tell you to stir, some they don't. I don't know why there's a difference. I mean, so let me show you. There we go. So sprinkle it over evenly. It'll sort itself out eventually. Right, so could do with somebody with me actually, just to, you know, sometimes just to help move the camera around. So now, using obviously a sterilised, everything's been sterilised before I use it. Cleanliness is next to godliness when it comes to homebrew kits. Put the lid on. Here's me airlock, put the airlock on, and because there's a good gap, I actually did a wine kit up to 26 litres, and bogger me, when it started bubbling, all the bloody wine was coming up through the gap, so it's something to be careful of. And yeah, now that is ready. There we go, and that's it. That's going to sit. I'm going to push it into the side. Now this kit, some kits can take a week to do, others longer. So the same fermentation will be up to 6 days, I think, at this time of the year. In a warm roomish room, you're looking at about 7 or 8 days. Don't rush it. You know, at the end of the day, you want the beer product. You don't want to be rushing things too much. Obviously, keep your instructions in a safe place. When it's stopped bubbling away, then we'll come back to it. So I'm not going to do daily updates because it's no point. You know, I might do one in 2 or 3 days' time once it's bubbled away, just to show you it bubbling. But other than that, no. And it says this is a 21-day kit. So 7 days fermenting-ish, and then transfer it to bottles. So adding a bit of sugar for each bottle. Or, you know, depending on what size bottles you're using, is how much sugar you use, you know. Half a teaspoon for pint, slightly bigger spoon, a spoon for probably a litre, and for 2 litre bottles if that's what you're using, because, I mean, recycling is great, you know. And I think beer ciders should be in bottles rather than barrels. The reason is, unless you've got a barrel with the carbonation, the CO2 thing on the top, it's a waste of time. Because as soon as you crack that barrel open for the first time and drink your pint, you've got 2 weeks to drink 40 pints. And I'll tell you now, it's not easy to drink 40 pints in 2 weeks. Not of the same stuff anyway. It can get a bit oof after a while. Right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in a few days.